Over the last decade, the music industry has worked itself into a mess over what's become known as the streaming revolution.
Spotify, Apple Music.
YouTube is the latest brand to jump on the streaming music service bandwagon.
In a ballsy move, Taylor Swift removed all her albums from Spotify and the world went insane.
And as more and more listeners have turned to these services in recent years, bringing the number to well over 6 million, the world has looked on as the convenience and affordability of these services has affected album sales and downloads in a big way.
Last year, album sales fell 9%. Individual track downloads on iTunes, Google, and Amazon also fell by 12%. Streaming is the only part of the music industry seeing revenue growth. In 2014, it grew by 54%, and it now accounts for 27% of the entire industry's revenue.
And over the years, everyone from artists.
In 1999, the music industry was a $14 billion industry. Today, it's half that.
To execs.
Music has been free for years, and that's the problem. And that Spotify wants to fix that. And they think they can do that by bringing in listeners to a freemium model, which basically means that I get to listen for free, but you're going to hear some advertisements. And then over time, just by displaying the value of their platform and how great it is, that I'll hopefully start paying for it, and that'll just mean more money in the music ecosystem.
And random informed YouTubers.
Spotify makes the vast majority of its money from the over 10 million people that send them $10 a month to listen ad-free. But here's the thing, when you pay that $10 a month, almost none of it goes to the actual artists that you listen to.
Have chimed in on this controversial subject, trying to answer the much debated question, is streaming a curse or a blessing? But in all this uproar, one very important group has been overlooked, the listeners. The people streaming the songs, downloading the albums, and going to the concerts. What's their take on all this industry drama? How would they react when informed about both the positive and negative effects of streaming? I sat down with a small group of University of Oklahoma students and asked them just that. Armed with knowledge of streaming from every angle, the good.
Streaming to me is, to artists right now, it's a blessing because you're able to reach so many people with just you putting the song out on the internet and it can go from there. And My Wrong was one of those songs that just flew by itself. It just went on by itself. People started sharing it, and that's, because of streaming.
The bad.
The new streaming services, they don't care about your intellectual property. They just want to give it away. They want to make money out of giving a service that they will make money out of. And it doesn't work for the musician, for the regular musician, it's not working.
And the profitable.
There's an NPD study that found a digital music buyer will spend about $55 a year on music. It's not a bad number. A subscriber to Google Play Music, they're going to pay $120 a year. So actually, if we can get people through the funnel to be a subscriber to a great music service, they are a really high-value customer,
These listeners had a lot to say on the subject. Some listeners were surprised and really felt for the artists.
It kind of opened my eyes because I didn't know they made so little off of that. I mean, I don't have Spotify or anything like that, so I've never done it. But, I mean, I think one guy said he had like 2 million streams and he made like $90.
That's a lot less than I would have thought they got. I was imagining like a penny for every hit. It made me feel kind of bad because I know these artists work hard, especially the ones who aren't like major, like Taylor Swift, but smaller bands, how in the past people would buy their actual CDs or tapes and they would get more money from that, and they don't now with streaming.
It really surprised me like how little these artists are getting from just like one share or even 100,000 shares. It seems like you take so much time and effort and money to create something and then you get nothing from it. Like, how are you supposed to continue doing that if you're not making any money?
Some listeners were torn.
It's hard for artists to make a living these days with streaming. I felt a lot of sympathy for the artists, but a little bit of, I'm not going to say guilt, but I really do like listening to music cheaply. So I don't know, it's kind of a weird twisted emotion on I want to help them, but I also don't want to give up what's easy.
While others were a little more ambivalent.
I don't really like Roseanne Cash, I think.
I definitely get what they're saying about like, okay, they're not getting their fair pay, but you can't turn back streaming.
Streaming websites gives you money. Conversely, if you tell me I can't stream, or you don't want to stream, or want me to pay a ridiculous more amount for just certain content, the internet, I can find that free anywhere. Not that I personally do it, but the point is that the average consumer would look and be like, I can find your content for free because somebody's ripped it online and all I have to do is press the little button and now it's mine.
I mean, we're at an age, if I just decide I don't want to pay for something, you know, if it's on the internet, like, tough luck, like, I could get it, you know, and so they'll just have to get like more creative with what they're offering. Is that how I feel?
Streaming doesn't pay artists very much per song listen, but it can be used to generate exposure to generate more profits later. It can generate ticket sales and influence people to go buy a record later.
But they all agreed when it came to the future of listening.
Well, okay, so I don't think streaming is ever going to go away because so many people are liking it so far, like 60 million users on Spotify. They're not just going to quit Spotify.
I think Spotify is too big for us to just get rid of it.
I think it is definitely like a survival of the fittest kind of world, and so if your music is shown a lot here and people like it, then people are going to end up buying tickets to your shows. So I mean, I think that there's some good to streaming.
I think that in the future, I think more and more people are going to actually use streaming services. You know, people find ways to download illegally, but I think that it's just easier in some sense to pay a flat fee of, you know, $10 a month and get access to all of the things that you want whenever you want it, and I think that's appealing to a lot of people.
And while the future of music is still unclear, it's clear that the system should be tweaked, not eliminated.
In order to change like this, I think it would have to take a lot of musicians coming together and like advocating that this isn't a good thing. But otherwise, I just think streaming services are going to dominate the business.
But you know, we are always coming up with new technologies and new ways to get information to people. So I could see something else happening, but right now, streaming is what it is.
Maybe the artists can like talk to like these streaming services to like say, hey, I'm not gonna put my stuff on your website or whatever unless I get like a higher percentage per stream.
I really think that artists and like record companies, if they want those record sales, they're gonna have to only put, you know, their like singles on streaming services and make fans purchase the albums to get the full discography, or make the albums have better content and like more interesting content.
Truth be told, it's not going away. Artists are going to have to find a way to deal with it. I think the best way is to try to find ways to work with the streaming service. Don't combat it, because again, it's not going away.
And from the looks of where we are now, they're right. Streaming is far too successful and far too ingrained in our society to just disappear. So now the question has changed. We're no longer asking if streaming will stay or go. Now we wonder, will the world continue to fight the changing industry, or will it embrace it?